I'm standing adjacent to one of our long-term sites that was established in 1988. And this site's important, like all of our sites, because what's happened is the surrounding landscape has changed, and changed quite dramatically over the last 2 decades or more. What's happened is that progressively across the landscape there's been a series of logging coops implemented across the entire system. In fact, there's about 35 logging coops in each direction surrounding this site. So what's happening is that there's a change in the spatial composition, the fabric of the landscape, and it's also changing through time. And our long-term monitoring sites allow us to tell what the effect of the change in the landscape is on particular species, and also on the composition of the forest. And as we see more and more of the landscape being cut over, the risks of the big trees in this system collapsing increase. We also see that as more and more of the landscape is cut, we see a progressive systematic decline in the number of possums, the number of gliders, and the number of birds. This is landscape ecology, and it's really important to understand how these landscapes are changing so that we can better work out why they're changing in the way they are, how they're changing, and what you can do to better manage it. What we see in these landscapes is that we need to protect more forest to protect the integrity of these ecosystems. The way that we understand things is also to compare places where there's been extensive change, like we see here, to deep in water catchments where there's been very little change, such as in the Upper Yarra and the Watts Creek areas, where those landscapes have remained largely unchanged since we first began working on these forests 3.5 decades ago.